Hello, welcome to another episode of Now You See Me, the show where we redefine beauty from the inside out. My name is Jeannette Jones, and I am your host and the producer of this show. Well, last week we talked a little bit about an article that I had read regarding the increase in the amount of autoimmune diseases in women of color. And I said that the article was talking about how the internalized emotions, internalized anger, internalized even rage causes women to develop autoimmune diseases. Well, I'm a person that believes that there's spiritual doors that open up when we are sick, or some door that we've opened up that needs to be closed. But I like to find out what that is, what happened to cause that door to open. Because we are healed by the stripes of Jesus. We are healed because of the cross. He bore our infirmities. So there's a lot going on in our lives that causes us not to respond to the word, or causes us to be sick. Now, I'm not saying that every single person that's ill or illness, when illness comes upon you, that it's because of something you necessarily did. But the majority of the time, that is truth. Well, see, I am, when I'm reading books, love to read books, love to actually listen to books, because I'm an audible person. So Audible, one of my Audible books is a book by the name of Exposing the Spiritual Roots of Disease. It's by Henry Wright. And he is someone who has done a great deal of research over the years about autoimmune diseases, different sicknesses in general. But today we're just talking about the autoimmune diseases. And based on his research, based on his experiences, he has narrowed down what is common with each of the autoimmune diseases. Now, there's over 100. We most certainly will not be talking about over 100 diseases today, but we will talk about some of the most common ones. We'll talk about some of the most common ones. But like I said, when we open up doors, or doors of sickness come in, it's because of our relationship either with God, our relationship with other people, or our relationship with ourselves is not where it should be. Now, with God, you can correct the relationship. You repent and you return to the God of your fathers. You return to holiness. You return to Jesus actually being Lord. If it's with other people, you apologize. You forgive. You apply scripture to make sure you are forgiving and you're not holding anger, you holding bitterness. But the biggest one with autoimmune diseases has to do with how we feel about ourselves. Our negative thinking about ourselves has shifted our DNA. It has shifted our DNA. The word says for us to cast down imaginations. That means self-hatred. That means self-rejection. That means all of the things that you feel about yourself that someone else said that is erroneous. Cast them down. Feelings like we're unlovable. Anything like that. We're unlovable. We're not good enough. Things like that. After a while, they plant roots. They form roots, and those roots grow. And those are not the kind of trees you want grown. That's not the kind of fruit you want to develop. And we'll sit up and we'll devalue our existence based on life situations, based on people and what they said. And eventually you get to a point where you have some type of disease. And you're wondering, where did it come from? Not everything that happens with us is genetic. Not everything that happens with us is genetic. 1 Corinthians 10 says, "For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. The weapons we fight are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ." Everything happens according to your thought process. And your mind is different from your brain. Your mind, if you want to come at it from a spiritual standpoint, your mind is that spiritual side of you that is controlling the brain, controlling the body, yielding one way or the other. Now, your brain itself has to be controlled. It has to be reprogrammed, and it has the ability to do that. God says for us to renew our mind. He has given us the ability to do that. But there's a section in the body, it's called the hypothalamus. And it's there to help us to regulate the environment, help us to get used to the environment. It's almost like there to help us with homeostasis. That's what it does. That's what it does. And it's about the size of an almond right there in the brain. And it has like the 10 to 11 little small bundles of nerves attached to it. And these nerves go out into all of the different parts of the body to help the body to control to help the body to adapt to the environment that it's around. Okay. And these nerves help the hypothalamus to get information, and they bringing it back, and the hypothalamus will tell you what to do or move you in that direction or send out the signals. Basically, that's what it's doing. This is what's happening. It's too hot. You're thirsty. You need to go drink some water. You need to go sit down. Anything like that. Things like I say, you're too hot, sweating. It helps to regulate blood pressure. It helps to control your stress reaction. And so it actually helps with metabolism. It helps with metabolism. It helps with safety overall. It is like just a place of balance for your body. Now, there are several factors that interfere with hormones, with the hormones and the hypothalamus. Let's say, for example, extreme stress for a prolonged period of time can just put the whole system out of whack. But I do want to talk about a few of them with you. So, like I said, the hypothalamus is normally one that sends out the signals, that fires in the direction your body's supposed to be firing in, or it's supposed to be firing in to tell your body what to do in that particular situation. And when that malfunctions, it causes the body to turn on itself, where you may have a target where your body is, bam, this is the enemy is in, attack the enemy. Well, if your body is misfiring, it's like it doesn't hit the target. It's like if you're in an airplane and they have a bullseye and you're supposed to drop the bomb on the bullseye. Well, it doesn't hit the bullseye because something happened with the machinery or the equipment in the plane. It doesn't hit the bullseye over here, but it hits something very important over there, and it's in the wrong spot. And so that's what happens when your body, the hypothalamus is malfunctioning. Your body, instead of attacking the actual enemy right here, it attacks the healthy tissue over here. Okay? It attacks the healthy tissue over here. But I want to talk about some of the specific things that are happening. Let's talk about type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is the autoimmune disease where the pancreas no longer produces insulin needed to control sugar. So people are always thinking mainly about sugar, and it is about sugar in the bloodstream. But if you control the insulin will control the sugar in the bloodstream. But what happens is the hypothalamus gets wrong information, sends out wrong information, and your white blood cells start to attack the wrong area. And so what it will do is it destroys the insulin producing cells. There are cells inside the pancreas that produces insulin. And if your hypothalamus is not healthy, it will misfire and it'll shoot out and tell the white blood cells, hey, to attack the healthy tissue. Attack the healthy tissue. And so as a result, the sugar builds up in your blood, in your cells, it builds up in your bloodstream, and you're dealing here with type 1 diabetes, and you are having to take insulin. Now, according to the book, Dr. Wright, by Mr. Wright, that comes from rejection. And he says that first one, type 1 diabetes is a direct result of living in a hostile or unloving family environment, particularly with a rejection of a father. So the child begins to think something is wrong with them. Why is daddy not around? And I would think that they meant mom too. Why is mom not around? Or if they are around, why don't they like me? Now let's look at lupus. Like I said, that the doctor said that I was dealing with. I believe in healing, but I also want to, I'm that person, I want to know what is the door that I opened. And so they were calling it lupus discord. Okay. And so lupus is an autoimmune disease in which the white corpuscles mistakenly target the connective tissue of your organs. So now with all autoimmune diseases, there's a misfire. And in lupus case, in the case of lupus, you are attacking the connective tissue for your organs. So there's always something going on with the organs when you're dealing with lupus. Skin is an organ. So some people have an attack on the skin. And so the white corpuscles can destroy the connective tissue, and you start people, not me, I think this is more people with the systemic lupus, and they have pain, fatigue, fever, shortness of breath, and other types of symptoms. And it says that the spiritual root of lupus would be guilt. And because of something that happened in our lives, people refuse to forgive themselves or carry guilt. And I can relate to that. There's some things that I think that I've held on to for quite a long time, and that was a spiritual cause of it. And that's something to look into. It's not maybe not necessarily the case with everybody, but like I said, I'm giving you information based on the possibility that we caused our own sickness. The possibility there's a door that's open that needs to be closed. Forgive. Stop feeling guilty. Stop feeling shame. It didn't come from God in the first place. So the guilt is powerful against us. And it's a device of the enemy to always make us feel guilty about things that we've done or things that we've said. And we just really need to forgive ourselves. Guilt and condemnation do not come from God, and we need to understand that. Rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is a disfiguring autoimmune disease. And again, you have white blood cells. This time it's attacking the connective cartilage of the joints. So this time we have the cartilage in between the joints. Remember, it's like with autoimmune diseases, a certain part of your body is attacked. In this particular case, rheumatoid arthritis, the connective tissue between your joints is attacked. And then you get inflammation. And so you have, and he says here in the article, in the book, and I'm just reading, it says, anything that relates to the skeleton or bones has an identity problem as a spiritual root. as if we're comparing ourselves to other people. So people with rheumatoid arthritis suffer from self-accusation. They don't accept themselves as they are. They think something about them is inferior. They have a negative way of viewing themselves, the world, and God. And as a result, they become allergic to themselves. What we really, really need to understand is that we are made in the image of God. And the saddest part about rheumatoid arthritis is, or any type of negative feeling about ourselves, is that the saddest part about all of it is that other people don't even see us that way. It's internalized. If you're looking at a person that is all together and they're good, they're handling it, they're handling life well, internally they may be thinking, I can't do anything right. And the outsides reflect the inside. That's the thing is, with most autoimmune diseases, the outside is going to show a reflection of what's actually going on in the inside. Sometimes it has to do with diet. Sometimes it has to do with spirit. Some to spiritual aspects of things. Sometimes it could be both. But it's important for you to find out which one. To me, this makes total sense. But to you, oh, this doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to it. Why not go and find out for yourself? Why not go and search your own heart and see what's in it? The heart is deceitful. Who can know it? Let's look at multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease that affects the nervous system. In the case of MS, the immune system malfunctions and the white corpuscles destroy the fatty substance that coats and protects nerve fibers in the brain and in the spinal cord. Okay, it's just like when they're building a house and they put this coating, they put the tubes around the wires to protect the wires. That's how it is in our nervous system. It's called myelin, the myelin sheath. And it comes and you have that sheet covering the nerves, almost acting like I guess the same way that you would cover copper wires. It has the same effects of it. It's like an insulation to protect the people from being shocked and to protect the nerves from being destroyed. So it's a dual thing there, a dual purpose. And so when with MS, the target is moved. Just like it is in all the other autoimmune diseases, the target is moved. The target is moved and the myelin sheath is attacked because the hypothalamus just misfired. Now the root for multiple sclerosis is identity, rejection. It's like a deep-rooted self-hatred. A person will question, why am I here? Who am I? And who cares? These are people who probably deal with suicide on a regular basis. The actual word for MS, sclerosis, means bite. And you're biting. It's like chunks and chunks of your white blood cells are biting your nerves, biting the myelin sheath, biting it, attacking it, literally. It says is rooted in self-hatred. It's a total rejection of who you are. Let's look at Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease is an autoimmune disease where the lining of the intestines is attacked. Like I said, the target may be one thing, but the white blood cells go to something else and attack the wrong thing. It says that the lining of the intestines, and they begin to eat the intestinal lining, and it produces inflammation. It alters the lining of your intestine. There's bleeding and there's pain. So the study case of over the years, according to the author, he says that the Crohn's disease is rooted in performance disorder, in which the individual is extremely driven to do everything right. They're extremely driven to make everybody happy. And they have this false burden of taking on responsibility that's not even theirs, taking on somebody else's responsibilities. And when things don't work well for somebody else, they blame themselves. It's that type of person. And there's like a constant self-conflict around them, and they can't get past it. It's a constant self-conflict around them, and they cannot get past it. And the last one I'm going to talk about today is Graves' disease. Graves' disease is an autoimmune disease in which the white blood cells congregate together in the thyroid. It's also called hyperthyroidism. With Graves' disease, you will experience excessive fatigue, heart palpitations, and developing a goiter or bulging eyes. So Graves' disease usually appears in females, and if left untreated can be life-threatening. And just like Crohn's disease, we're talking about performance disorder. Having to please people, doing whatever you can do to be responsible for other people's happiness, trying to get everything right all the time, trying to be perfect all the time. That Graves' disease and Crohn's disease basically are rooted in, like I said, performance disorder. That's a spiritual root according to this particular person, Henry Wright. And of course there's other diseases, but today, since I wanted to talk about autoimmune diseases as it relates to what the article said last week about African American women. And we need to understand who we are. We have to understand who we are. We have to understand that the God of the universe, the creator of all things, loves us. He loves us the way that we are. And doctors will give you medicine. Doctors will give you radiation. Doctors will give you all kinds of things to fix these ailments. But sometimes there's a spiritual reason behind what is going on. There's a spiritual reason behind the disease that attacks itself. Autoimmune. If you're suffering from one of the over 100 autoimmune diseases, find out what's going on. Sometimes it just happens. It really, really does just have to do with environment. Using the wrong chemicals, being around the wrong chemicals, being around, you probably ingested something. Sometimes it really is something that simple. But if there's a spiritual cause behind it, and there's more to it, we need to investigate. We need to think about what we're thinking about. We need to think about the fact that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And what other people think about us, honestly, is really none of our business. What's our business is how God thinks about us. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in this week. Be blessed, be blessed, be blessed.
If you're looking for a life coach, go to www.JeannetteMJones.com and sign up for a free 15-minute complimentary session. I assure you, you will not be disappointed.
You know, when I first started my television show, I was terrified. One, because it was uncharted territory. And another reason was because of the name itself, Now You See Me. It gave the air of transparency, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for everybody to see me. But I said yes. And it's been a journey that I will never forget nor regret.
It was maturing. It caused me to open up. It caused me to not be afraid of my feelings. It was fun to create. Even if some of the topics, I will be honest, I didn't really want to talk about, but I felt in my heart of hearts that that's what I was supposed to be talking about that week. But as you go through one thing and you're at one level, then God puts you in a position where you go to the next level. I have a channel, Filling in the Gap, and the name itself speaks volumes. It means that we're going to be filling in the spaces and giving people information that's going to move them from point A to point B. I know in my life, it seems like I was right there on the edge of something always. And then somebody came by to give me what I needed to push me on to the next level. And that's what I want for this channel. So if you are a person that feels like God has called you and you have a vision, you have something to share with the people. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be cooking, it could be exercise, it could be whatever. But you're really, really feeling like what you have is what somebody else needs. Then you may be the person that's perfect for this channel. Click on the link, fill in your information, and you will get a link to the session via email. Okay? So I am looking forward to talking to you. I am looking forward to talking to you, and I'm excited for you. I'm very excited for you because I know on the other end, there's just people recognizing your brilliance. Go ahead, sign up.